If I were Kevin Feige, I would start dusting off my resume and start looking for another job. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this all-new Spinsterella story. Pre-order your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. I got a chance to take a look at the trailer for Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four First Steps. And I have to say that the trailer for First Steps takes one step forward for the Marvel Cinematic Universe and takes several steps back once you start to see how they've made deviations from the original source material. Now, the first time I saw the trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps, I was impressed at how true it was to the original source material in basically capturing the essence of everything that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby made about the Fantastic Four. And everything visually was absolutely beautiful as related to the whole translation from the comics to film. However, on watching this second trailer, I'm seeing how they are basically making several steps back as related to this overall film. Now, clearly, this Fantastic Four movie is not set in the main MCU, and that's basically going to be a bit of a problem because you're failing to answer that critical question a screenwriter like myself has to answer, and that critical question is, why should we care? I mean, it becomes very hard to care about the Fantastic Four if this isn't the official Fantastic Four, because if this is a group of characters on an alternate world, it becomes hard to care as related to them, and that basically takes the entire stakes out of the movie, takes all the stakes out of the movie that were in an alternate world. So that's one problem I'm seeing with this Fantastic Four movie. The other problem I saw was that they brought in a female Silver Surfer, and that female Silver Surfer further exacerbates the entire problem with Fantastic Four in not answering that question of why should we care, because if it's clearly defined that this is an alternate universe, this means that the stakes are not there for the audience to invest in it at all, because this will not be a canon movie. It will not be a canon movie to most people, because you've already threw in all these alternate reality elements that take us completely out of the story. And again, alternate universes and multiverses, this is a big problem because, again, you have no personal or emotional investment in it at this point, and that's where the Fantastic Four movie, again, seems like a great creative tragedy, because everything here is so dead on to the old Stan Lee and Jack Kirby comics, and it basically feels like a Stan Lee and Jack Kirby homage in every panel, and that's really the whole sad part about this film. It's sad that this very authentic Fantastic Four movie is not a canon movie. That's the whole sad part about this movie. And it's where I believe Kevin Feige fumbled the football that basically will lead to the possible end of his career. And I believe it will lead to the end of his career in an ignominious fashion, because here you have, again, one of the great-looking adaptations of the Fantastic Four, and instead of it rising to the occasion, as we see in this trailer, what happens is it starts to feel, with this female Silver Surfer, more like a cut and paste of Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. Now, Rise of the Silver Surfer, again, it was a bit of a mid-movie to some, but the whole thing is it feels like you're cutting and pasting that whole movie together along with Fantastic Four 48 through 50, and you're going to start throwing in other elements like what some are rumored as related to a neutered Johnny Storm and a feminist Invisible Woman. And instead of this movie rising to become a film that could have revived the MCU and revived interest in the MCU, it's looking like another nail in the coffin for Kevin Feige. And this whole fumble, as I see it, and this is a very creative fumble for the MCU, which has not been doing well ever since Avengers Endgame. Ever since Avengers Endgame, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been on a state of decline. But this whole movie, again, this could have been something that could have been promising. I mean, everything aesthetically and visually in this film is beautiful. But the problem is that it's tied to this dreadful multiverse saga, and because it's tied to this dreadful multiverse saga and is a part of that multiverse, there's no reason to care. There's no reason to see these characters as the Fantastic Four, the way we saw Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, the way we saw Chris Hemsworth as Thor, the way we saw Edward Norton as the Hulk, because I refuse to ever acknowledge Mark Ruffalo because he's a complete bait-up male, and Chris Evans as Captain America for a generation. I mean, these guys were the heroes. They were the canon heroes, and that's why we cared about them. But now that we know that this is an alternate world in a multiverse, again, it really sucks all the stakes out of this movie, doesn't give you that incentive or that reason to care. And I'd have to say that this trailer is several steps back from the steps forward they made with the beautiful visuals. I mean, you had all these beautiful visuals and you had this great story that was dead on to the Fantastic Four, but you take us out of what makes it fantastic. And what's really the great irony here is that, again, when you think of Fantastic Four is the foundation of the Marvel Universe. It's the flagship movie, but this flagship movie is not being treated, flagship comic is not being treated like the flagship that it is. I mean, Fantastic Four and Spider-Man are the core of Marvel Comics, and I have not been happy with the way they've done either of those characters. I mean, with Spider-Man, I really am pissed off because what they did was they took Uncle Ben out of Spider-Man's story, and Uncle Ben is core to Spider-Man's story. That tragedy is core to Peter Parker's mission of being a hero. That story is core to who Peter Parker is. I mean, you can't have Spider-Man without the tragedy of Uncle Ben, because the tragedy of Uncle Ben is the reason why Spider-Man goes out here and fights crime, because since he didn't take his great power and use it responsibly, he wound up losing the family member who he was closest to. That's core to his character, and again, that's why I hate all those Spider-Man movies that Disney has made, because Uncle Ben has not been core to his story. And when it comes down to the Fantastic Four are the foundation of Marvel. They are Marvel's first family, and instead of treating Marvel's first family with the respect they deserve and showing Reed Richards as the architect of the Marvel Universe, basically, if reports are true, Sue Richards is being made as the face of things as related to promoting an identity politics narrative, and that just sucked all the joy that I had for this movie. I mean, this movie looked fantastic to me in that first trailer, but when I saw that female Silver Surfer, I saw all the rumors confirmed to be true. We don't need a female Silver Surfer. We needed Norrin Radd. We needed Norrin Radd because Norrin Radd is core to the Fantastic Four story. I mean, it's nice that we got Galactus, but it looks like they're going to say that their world was destroyed as related to the multiverse. And again, if it ain't the real Fantastic Four, then why should we care? Why should anyone care about a movie that's a part of an alternate world? I mean, it's no different than Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Mediocrity, Multiverse of Madness, and shows me where Fail 5 and Fail 6 are just as bad as Fail 4, Phase 4. This whole Marvel Cinematic Universe is turning more and more into an epic failure, turning more and more into an epic failure. An epic failure because, again, you had an opportunity to turn this whole universe around. You could have turned it around, but we've got this multiverse saga where we're not getting the real Doctor Doom, we're not getting the real Fantastic Four, and you're being given these imitations similar to Halle Berry's Catwoman and being told that this is canon. I mean, this is more disappointing to me than Michael Bay's Transformers. I mean, Michael Bay's Transformers are a deep disappointment, but this is even more disappointing because it's showing me that Kevin Feige, in his desperation, is not only making deviations from the source material, but making mockery of the source material, because to give us something as close to the Fantastic Four in the comics and then, passively and then aggressively make it something else, that's really disappointing. And then you're going to put it, as I see it, a dingleberry on top of this crap cake with Doomsday and Secret Wars. I mean, the MCU is looking like it's getting ready to end like many American franchises. And like many American franchises where it ends in ignominious fashion, because you're not getting anything that of quality like we got in 2008 when Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and the Hulk built up the Avengers movie. No, what we're getting is a very disappointing conclusion that will end in a as I see it, box office disaster, a series of box office disasters where Kevin Feige, who was on top of the world, will now be possibly looking for another job. And I would advise Kevin Feige to just go out here and start looking for another job, because as related to the MCU, you're about through, because this whole situation with Fantastic Four, I mean, I'm deeply disappointed with this trailer, because what I saw towards the end of this trailer had me going from what I saw in the first trailer where I was saying, oh, this movie was fantastic, to this movie turning into something that's looking completely craptastic. Now, if you want to check out my first full comic, John Haynes, at Death's Door, that comic is much better than that Craptastic trailer. You can find it on Lulu for the same price as the 2022 Kickstarter and get 32 pages of awesome action where the man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in an action-packed, full, illustrated John Haynes series adventure. And you can also check out the books of the SJS Direct Universe, which is easier to follow than the MCU. And you can start that universe by reading The Temptation of John Haynes, which is the first book as related to John Haynes. Pick up then Esteem No Good Deed, which starts the Esteem series. And you can also pick up Isis Amari's Revenge. Those are the first 3 entry points to the SJS Direct Universe. And that universe of books is easier to follow than most Marvel and DC comics these days, because every book is an entry point. Every book is an entry point, and you'll have no problem following the SJS Direct Universe in paperback or digital format on Amazon.com or other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos taking MCU movies or other concepts to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA, from the Black Boule, in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.